Well, hey, Stephen, thank you for joining us and making time. Really appreciate it. It's great to be chatting with you.
Thanks so much for having me.
I'm going to come straight out of the gates with the age old question here and just ask you, do you have like an all time favorite movie?
All-time favorite movie? I mean, I have a lot of favorite movies, let's put it that way. But the one I always go to is Dark City. I love the world building in that movie. I just love the score, the tone, the visuals. It's like it's a perfect Steve movie in every way. So it ends with a huge set piece, like starts kind of in one place and ends in a completely different place, which is something I try to do with all my movies. Um, so yeah, I would put Dark City there, but that is, we'll see what my mood is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
versus tomorrow.
I always think
Maybe,
that when you ask that question, if someone can answer it too quickly, I'm like, that means you haven't seen enough movies because
yeah.
it's just impossible. It's impossible
I
to
mean,
answer.
Or instantly
like
regret what they just said.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, last week, like last Wednesday, I think Snake Eater 3, His Law was my
Yes.
favorite movie. So, you know, it changes on a pretty regular basis.
Man, I love that series.
Oh, actually, and then like after that, so Snake Eater 3 was my favorite, and then a few days later I watched that Gary Busey movie, Hider in the House. You know this movie?
hmm
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. With Mimi Rogers. Yeah.
yeah. So then that was my favorite movie because that movie is great. I'd never seen it. I just love movies, guys.
Yes.
I love all the
I
movies. I love
usually
every movie I watch,
I usually
apparently.
like to warm people up, and that's the last question I ask. But I thought I'd reverse it this time, just because I feel like your films are so nostalgic. I'm just wanted to tap into your psyche with that. How about like, is there a particular movie from your childhood that you feel clenched the deal for you and made you want to pursue filmmaking?
Well, I mean, like the original Star Wars trilogy was a big deal for me as a kid. Like that was really like everything on display that I like, all the kinds of spectacle and like visual world building that I like. Um, but again, there's just so many movies that influenced me. Terminator 2 was a big one. Uh, I've referenced this a few times in the past in interviews, but when I went and saw the Mortal Kombat movie in 1995 in the theater, like that really blew my 10-year-old brain.
Yes.
And that I think that was part of what got the gears turning of like I want to make this because it was just such a thrill. It was just such a like felt like I was at a concert because it's such a like soundtrack centric movie
Yeah.
too. It's just like guys in cool costumes fighting with music blaring. I was like, yeah, this is cinema right now. I love this. So really connected
But
with
then
me.
the introduction of the Goro character, which
Yep.
like is like you're like surely they're not going to like even if you're a fan of the game, you're like they're not going to do any of that. That's not going to happen. And then it happens in the movie, and you're like, holy shit, this is fucking
Yeah.
great.
Yes. Well, that movie, like people rip on it for being like, oh, there's no fatalities, but I'm like, I think it captures the spirit of those games. At least 10-year-old Steve playing Mortal Kombat like pretty accurately and building, yeah,
Yeah.
like you said, building up Goro in such a way was just really effective. I don't know, I just think it's really good filmmaking. I have a real soft spot for Paul W.S. Anderson. I think that guy
100%.
he made a few bangers in his career.
It certainly has. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
and for me, that Mortal Kombat is a total reflection of my experience playing the game because I was never had a memory or skill to actually do a fatality. Could never do it. My
Exactly.
entire life, I've never been able to do a fatality.
I was that guy who would like try to punch it in, and I would just like do a low punch and knock the guy over, and it would like cancel out the fatality. And I'd be like, oh, well, that was an underwhelming end to that fight.
Now I have to beat somebody twice again before I get the chance to do this again.
Yeah, exactly. And by then I'm like, I give up. I'm not even trying. I'm
Yeah,
not going to humiliate myself again.
yeah.
Well, speaking of 10-year-old Stephen, 10-year-old me, I think you spoke to the 10-year-old me with Frankie Freako. This movie really took me back, and I absolutely love the film. So, firstly,
Right.
congratulations on the film. But can you speak to
Hey.
some of the influences? I think Ben and I and many people would recognize some, but can you talk us through some of what influenced you?
Well, it was myself and my director of photography on the film, Pierce Dirks. We were streaming little monster movies and getting really just fixated on the concept of making a little monster movie like a few years back. And so, yeah, we just fell down this rabbit hole of watching like every shitty little monster movie there is, like the good ones, and then we got real deep and found some real stinkers. And we're still
He's talking
charmed
about
by.
Wynorski, mate. He's talking about Wynorski.
Not no.
Well, I mean, yeah, like
Munchies? No way.
oh, oh yeah, not even Munchies. Where it's at, Munchie, the sequel.
Yeah.
Munchie,
That
yeah.
is
Yeah.
primo movie.
Yeah.
Love that movie. Would happily remake that movie. It is so fun. But I feel like a big one was Ghoulies Go to College, Ghoulies 3, because it's so stupid.
Mhm.
Like it is such a masterfully dumb movie that we're watching it and we're being like, there's like an art to being this dumb. This is not like people. I think like a casual moviegoer would watch it and get like angry probably and be like, why is this so stupid? This is an insult to the audience. It's like I think the opposite. I think like a lot of thought goes into making something that's just such a like affront to reality and to any kind of like basic human sensibilities. Uh, and so yeah, we just got really fixated on that movie. And that's really what got the ball rolling is I was like, I would love to make something this dumb. It also it it was like a bunch of factors lined up. Like I was starting to get the ball rolling on making Death Stalker, but then, financing got delayed and it pushed for a year. So I had like a year of time where I was like, nothing's happening. Why don't I make a little movie in between? Literally a little movie, thinking it would be simple making a puppet movie.
Mhm.
So it was that. I also was really fixated on the idea of making a movie that was like a sort of one location thing. I'm incapable of making a one location movie apparently because we break out of it multiple times and go to other dimensions. So, I failed in that front. But in my head, I was like, I want to make like kind of like an Evil Dead 2 style situation where it's just like one guy getting wrecked for 84 minutes. So then that lined up with watching these little monster movies. And then, yeah, Frankie Freako was just born out of that. This idea of like, what if Connor Sweeney was in a house and just getting the shit kicked out of him by a
I was
little
going to
little
say,
dude?
and who better to wreck than a nerdy Connor Sweeney?
Well, and that part of that inspiration was, I don't know if you're familiar with the movie Enemy Territory. Uh,
Yes, which
it's
is, I was going to say that Ghoulies 3 is finally getting a Blu-ray release, I'm sure in no small part to Frankie Freako. But Enemy Territory is finally getting a Blu-ray release as well.
Yeah, finally, and that's one of those like buried movies I would recommend to people and be like, it's the whole thing's on YouTube. You got to watch it. It's amazing. But the main character in that was a bit of an inspiration for Connor because he's that like insurance guy and he's like not the greatest guy. So you enjoy watching him get beat up, but at the same time, you want him to make it out alive. You can't help but sympathize with him a little bit and just like want him to get punished and learn his lesson, but also make it through. And so as a like watching that movie, I was like, I could see Connor being this kind of guy. And so he was a natural fit for the main character. And it's also like I've never had Connor star in one of my movies before. So it was really just an excuse for me and Connor to hang out on set and goof around. And yeah, he's like one of the funniest people I know. And the reason that movie is as funny as it is, I think, is because Connor is just kind of doing his thing. It was fun to just let him go to town and riff and yeah, just do his thing and roll the cameras on him. He was awesome.
As a collective with Astron 6, do you guys like have a cache or a bank of ideas that you've got floating that you'd love to make one day? Or is it more of a in the moment, I've got an idea, let's do this?
This one felt like a bit of an in the moment thing. I mean, I've always wanted to make a little monster movie, like deep in the back of my brain. It was something I wanted to do, and I had pitched it in our Astron 6 group chat, messenger chat in the past, where I was like, they would be floating ideas around, and I'd be like, "What if the villain was little monsters?" And distinctly remember Matt Kennedy saying that that wasn't like a viable villain in terms of like what people want to see in a movie. And so part of this was just me wanting to prove him wrong and then making him voice Frankie Freako as well. Uh, but yeah, as far as like a cache of ideas, I guess in the way that any creative has a bunch of ideas, like we're always throwing around stupid ideas, and stuff will go away, stuff will come back. You don't really know what'll stick. But anytime we hang out, we're just riffing and coming up with. So yeah, it's like a constant flowing river of stupidity. That will pluck stuff out.
What determines who takes the lead on a project? Like, how do you decide who directs?
Well, I mean, I've kind of just been taking the lead on my own stuff for the past few years. Part of that's just motivated by like my career choice in effects. Like the working in effects is motivating me doing effects-centric movies because then I can work in effects on my own movies, which was the case for Psycho Gorman, Frankie Freako, and Deathstalker as well. Like I'm able to coordinate all these things and supervise and design the effects. So yeah, I mean, it's like everybody kind of just is doing their own thing, and when something takes off, you try to pull as many people into it as possible. So yeah.
Cool. And as like, and I don't want to focus too much on just Astron 6 as a collective, but like I am fascinated by the whole dynamic of it. And you're mostly behind the camera. Has there ever been a point where you thought, I want to be in front of the camera with these guys?
Yeah, I think you and Jeremy are the only two who I haven't seen on screen. Has Jeremy been on screen?
Technically, if you watch Chow Boys, like, which, I mean, you're referring to Astron 6 in the present tense as though it's still a thing. We're technically like sort of disbanded, but not really. It's more just like we haven't had the opportunity to make things, all five of us together.
Yeah.
But the last official Astron 6 thing was Chow Boys. And in that, all five of us are in it. And I played like Evil Santa at the end. So I will happily wear prosthetics and be in a creature suit because that's my jam. That's what I like doing. I can't keep up with those guys with the riffs. Like I just start laughing. Even when I'm behind the camera, I'm just sitting there laughing. Like half the fun of this to me is just putting my friends in front of the lens and letting them joke around and just enjoying that dynamic, like putting them in stupid outfits. Frankie Freako being the perfect example, like with Adam being like, what's the stupidest sweater I can put him in? Let's give him a bunch of rings for some reason and a dumb ponytail and like
the best
goatee.
The best ponytail in film history. That
a ponytail that I made myself the night before shooting. I just like cut a weft of hair off of a wig and then like hot glued the end and put some clips on it and was like, here's your ponytail. So yeah, it's a real last minute thing that I'm glad I did.
I love that you're a special effects guy too. Like I was really stoked to see your name pop up in A Violent Nature. Like the work on that was incredible. That's phenomenal. That was a great movie.
Thanks. I mean, it was a huge team effort. Like Chris Nash was in there a ton building a lot of the stuff. Like he is responsible for a good chunk of it, but yeah, there was like a whole team of people behind it. But yeah, the stuff that I was able to get my hands dirty on, like I built a lot of that yoga death, the like pretzel body, which was actually 3 separate bodies. So it was quite a complicated thing. But yeah, I mean, kind of maybe starting to ramp up on the next one now.
Amazing. And I love it when films like that like just get shared from person to person just because of the death. It's like, check this shit out. And that movie definitely floated around my aura like fucking have.
But I love that yoga scene. I love that yoga scene, like the human body, even in prosthetic form, the human body can't get into those positions.
Well, yeah, it's like a completely implausible thing that took 3 different stages of the body to get it to work because there's no way one body could bend and do that. It was pretty insane. But like props to Chris for hard committing to it and not budging and being like, no, this is what it has to do.
Yeah.
it paid off. It certainly is like a
Yeah.
showstopper on set
Fucking
piece.
gnarly as shit. So in terms of design, can you talk about Frankie himself? What a great little character. Like, how many iterations of this little munchkin did you have to go through before you settled on the look?
I think I actually sculpted pretty much to completion three different versions of him. I made like an early proto Frankie, like before we even had the green light on the movie. I had built a version because an issue I have when I'm in the writing stage of movies is that I get bored of writing, so I just start making my monsters as a way of procrastinating. So I actually built a Frankie while I was writing the treatment for it. And then from that, I made a second version that I wasn't quite happy with. So then again, made another version, a third final version, um, because I wanted to integrate some elements that teased his demon version that shows up
Hmm.
in the movie. So I gave him like kind of little horns and stuff. As far as his overall look, uh, one of the inspirations was Andrew Dice Clay a little bit, like visual. And then so it was like a bit of Andrew Dice Clay mixed with
Oh,
yeah, like there's John Travolta in the movie Swordfish. I don't know if you remember how he looks in that movie, but he
Yep.
has that like little that little soul patch thing. Uh, yeah, those are two big inspirations. And then just like a bit of like kind of glam rock makeup with the blue lips and stuff, just to spice them up a bit. It really was just a mishmash of all sorts of nonsense. He has gold eyes. I want him to have gold eyes because it's like a hang up that I have about the Leprechaun movie is that I wanted the Leprechaun to have gold eyes, and we just couldn't get contacts that looked that way. So they're yellow. I'm happy with the look, but
Mm.
I wanted them to be gold. So this was my way of kind of like righting that wrong, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and then also like his design also informed Boink and Dottie,
Hmm.
his little buddies. I wanted it to be very specifically RGB, like red, green, and blue. And so, like, starting with a bold color made it easy to kind of work off of and be like, okay, well, what's their like, here's their color, what's their shtick? And then, yeah, everything, their wardrobe came from that. So,
I feel like they deserve their own little garbage pail kid cards. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, I would love to get toys or something going for them at some point.
oh mate, so fucking good. Working with puppets, is it easy or difficult?
No, it's not easy. It's really hard and tiring. And the puppeteers, including myself, can confirm that. I just built the puppets wrong. Like they're like if I do this again, if I do another Frankie or another puppet movie, definitely going to do them in foam latex because I made them in silicone for this. Partially because silicone is just quicker to cast up. Foam latex, you have to bake it. It takes hours and hours. Silicone, in like an hour and a half, you can have a skin cast up and ready to go. So for speed, we did silicone, but it's heavy. There's a lot of weight to it. And you forget that like you have to like hold your hand up this whole time, like the whole time you're shooting. And so you're also supporting the weight of a puppet head. Like I had never really tried to make a puppet thing before. So I just dived in head first and made all the mistakes on this one. So the hope is the next one I learn from those mistakes. Because yeah, it was very difficult, way more work than I was expecting it to be. Ultimately, I'm happy with where everything ended up, but there was a lot of R&D and a lot of stuff going wrong on set and things going slow and realizing
so did
also.
you?
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so well, you've got Matthew, both Matthew, Adam, I think Connor now. They all have kids now. Do you get to the point where you're halfway through and you're like, let's just Ewok this. Let's just bring the kids
I
in,
mean,
put them in a costume, and save ourselves 3 weeks of
unfortunately,
headache.
Connor's kid was a little too big at the time to be a freak. My hope is that I can time out a sequel with my son Leon reaching appropriate size. Like I don't know if it's like 2 or 3, but I'm definitely gonna dress him like Frankie at some point, even just for fun.
Halloween.
Yeah, probably
That'd be
just for
amazing.
Halloween. But
Yeah.
yeah, I have considered that too. The just doing the like those shots of Chucky where it's clearly just like a kid running around like that.
Yeah.
That probably would have been a lot easier than me trying to puppeteer Boink's legs as he's running around the basement.
I have been watching a lot of Alf lately, and I tell you what, those moments where you see his whole body and it's clearly moved from being a regular puppet to like a costume, they're my favorite parts. I love that.
I mean, I do love how janky and weird it is. That's like the whole appeal of this type of movie to me is every shot is an effect. Every shot is like a camera trick. So
Yeah.
you're looking at it and you're not just like watching the movie, you're also watching and being like, well, where's the puppeteer hiding?
Yeah.
Like what action is he doing? Is this a puppet specific for that action? So that stuff I really enjoy about this type of movie, and like especially when it doesn't quite work the way it's supposed to,
Yeah.
and there's like a bit of jank to it. So that part is always appealing to me. Is that it's trying to decipher like what's the effect, and how is it actually working or is it not?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's
I
certainly.
guess, and there's also the
Go
I was gonna say
on,
there's
man.
also the doll man trick where you just put a regular person, but
False
you make the
perspective.
sets much bigger. Yeah.
Yes. Well, in like, didn't they do that in the later Puppet Master movies? Like they made that Blade spinoff, and I think for that one they just made like a full size costume for a guy and just shot him on miniature sets instead of having a puppet. And I mean, I guess you could go that route, but I don't know. I like
It never looks. I mean, it never looks right. It never
doesn't
really.
look right.
In a way,
And I don't know. I kind of love in Puppet Master where they'll have cutaways to the puppets just sitting there and they'll like just kind of move slightly,
Yes.
like just a little bit. I don't know. Something about that is like, that just warms my heart.
Yeah.
I just like it.
That Demonic Toys sequel's a bit that way. Hilarious. Love it.
Yeah. Where it's like the bare minimum of movement.
Yes.
yeah.
Now, look, before we wrap this chat up, I just want to ask you a question related to this specific episode that we're recording. Every week we do a movie battle, and on this week's battle we're doing Inner Space versus Dreamscape, two Dennis Quaid movies from the 80s. Without the benefit of any kind of time to consider those two movies, which one would you lean towards?
Inner Space.
Excellent. I'm not going to reveal my answer because we're going to battle that out later on the show, Ben.
Okay,
I reckon,
sweet.
That's a
I
great.
reckon it's
great
like
choice.
90% assured which way it's going to go. But
Yeah, I reckon.
you have surprised me before. So,
I'm actually curious which one you guys prefer.
No, fuck
I
it.
hate, like,
Fuck
not
it.
to rip on-
It's going to be Inner Space, 100%.
Yeah, and not to rip on Dreamscape, but like every time I watch that movie, I'm like, this is going to be the time I like it, and then I don't. So.
Yep. The conversation's already been had now, Ben.
Yeah, sorry.
No.
I gave
That's
you
all right.
battle over.
I led you into that conversation. Hey, thanks so much for having a chat about Frankie Freako. Absolutely love this movie, and I'm glad so many people are now going to have a chance to see it for themselves outside of the festival circuits and whatnot. So, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
If all goes well, I should be back Sunday evening.
I don't even want to tell you what I got planned for the weekend.
Oh, 8:30.
That is late even for a Friday.
Are you ready for the party of a lifetime? It's time to call Frankie Freako's Fun Time phone. Call now.
This is Frankie.
Are you ready?
Ready for what?
To party, my man!
I'm ready. I'm ready to party.
Here we go!
Oh my god. What kind of monster would do this?
Relax, buddy. We're here to help you loosen up.
Shabadoo.
Time to get freako! Hit it, dude. Let's boogie!
Let's do it.
He's a keeper. Ow!
No, not acceptable.